The signal Dr. Elena Vasquez floated in the zero-gravity lab of the research ship Meridian. She had been staring at the same data screen for 3 hours. Her coffee had gone cold long ago, but she did not notice. What she saw on the screen made her heart race. "This cannot be real," she whispered to herself. The signal had come from deep space. At first, her team thought it was just another pulsar or some other natural radio source. But when they ran it through the computers, something amazing appeared. The signal had patterns, it had structure, it had meaning. Elena called her assistant, Dr. James Park, over to her workstation. James was young but very smart. He had joined her team 2 years ago, fresh from university. "James, look at this," Elena said, pointing at her screen. "Tell me what you see." James looked at the data for a long moment. His eyes grew wide. "These are mathematical sequences," he said slowly. "Prime numbers, then the Fibonacci sequence, then—" "Oh my God, Elena, this is pi calculated to 1,000 decimal places." Elena nodded. "Keep looking. There is more." James continued to study the signal. After 10 minutes, he turned to Elena with an expression of pure amazement. "This is not natural. Someone sent this. Someone intelligent." "Exactly," Elena said. "And look at this part here." She pointed to another section of the data. "These look like star charts. See these patterns? They match the constellation Lyra as seen from our solar system." The two scientists stared at each other in silence. They both understood what this meant. After centuries of searching, humanity had finally received proof that they were not alone in the universe. Elena activated the ship's communication system. "Captain Morrison, please come to Lab 7 immediately. We have something you need to see." Captain Sarah Morrison arrived within minutes. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and serious eyes. She had been commanding deep space missions for 20 years, but she had never seen her science team this excited. "What do you have for me, Dr. Vasquez?" she asked. Elena took a deep breath. "Captain, we have received what we believe to be an artificial signal from an intelligent alien species." The captain's expression did not change. She was used to her scientists getting excited about cosmic phenomena. "Are you certain it is artificial?" "Yes, ma'am," James replied. "The signal contains complex mathematical proofs, star charts, and what appears to be a greeting message. There is no natural process that could create this." Captain Morrison studied the data for several minutes. She was not a scientist, but she had enough training to understand what she was looking at. Finally, she straightened up. "How long ago did we receive this signal?" she asked. "The transmission reached us 47 minutes ago," Elena replied. "Based on the signal strength and direction, we believe it originated from the Kepler 442 system, approximately 200 light-years away." The captain nodded slowly. "That means this signal has been traveling for 200 years. Whoever sent it has been waiting a very long time for an answer." "Captain," Elena said carefully, "we need to notify Earth Command immediately." "This is the most important discovery in human history," Captain Morrison agreed. Within an hour, an encrypted message was speeding toward Earth at faster-than-light speeds through the quantum communication network. The message was simple but world-changing. "First confirmed alien signal received. Intelligent origin confirmed. Peaceful greeting suspected. Awaiting instructions." On Earth, the message caused chaos in the best possible way. President Chen of the United Earth Government called an emergency session of the Global Council. Scientists, military leaders, and diplomats gathered in Geneva to discuss humanity's response. Dr. Michael Torres, Earth's leading expert on xenobiology, was brought in to analyze the signal. After 3 days of study, he confirmed what the Meridian's crew had already determined. The signal was definitely from an intelligent alien species, and it appeared to be peaceful. "The mathematical content suggests a highly advanced civilization," Dr. Torres explained to the assembled leaders. They have included proofs of theorems that our own mathematicians only discovered in the last century. But more importantly, the tone of the message seems friendly. They are trying to establish common ground with us through universal mathematical concepts. The president asked the question everyone was thinking. Do we respond? And if so, what do we say? The debate lasted for days. Some argued that humanity was not ready for contact with an alien species. Others worried about revealing Earth's location to potentially hostile aliens. But the majority agreed with Dr. Torres and the scientific community. This was a peaceful greeting, and humanity should respond in kind. A special committee was formed to craft humanity's response. They included mathematicians, artists, musicians, philosophers, and linguists. Their job was to create a message that would represent the best of human civilization. The message they created was beautiful. It began with the same mathematical sequences the aliens had sent, showing that humans understood their greeting. Then it included samples of human art, music, and literature. There were images of Earth's diverse landscapes and peoples. There were recordings of Bach, Mozart, and traditional songs from every continent. The message also included information about human science and technology. It showed humanity's achievements in medicine, physics, and engineering. It demonstrated that humans were intelligent and creative, but also peaceful and curious about the universe. Most importantly, the message included Earth's location. The committee felt that hiding humanity's home would seem suspicious and unfriendly. If these aliens had peaceful intentions, they should be welcomed with trust and openness. Dr. Elena Vasquez was chosen to transmit the message. She had discovered the original signal, so it seemed fitting that she should send humanity's reply. The transmission took place from the Meridian, which was still in deep space and closer to the source of the alien signal. As Elena activated the transmission array, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. She was about to send the first intentional message from humanity to another intelligent species. Message transmitting, she announced to the assembled crew. Signal strength is strong. The message should reach the Kepler 442 system in approximately 1,200 years. But Elena was wrong about one thing. The aliens who had sent the original signal were not in the Kepler 442 system anymore. They were much, much closer than anyone imagined. The message was also wrong about something else. While it accurately showed humanity's achievements and peaceful nature, it also revealed something the message creators had not intended. It showed humanity's current level of technology. It showed their defensive capabilities. It showed exactly how advanced their weapons were, and to the aliens who received it, this information was very, very interesting. Back on Earth, celebrations began. The news of first contact spread across every communication network. People gathered in the streets of major cities. Scientists gave interviews explaining the significance of the discovery. Children looked up at the stars with new wonder, knowing that somewhere out there, other intelligent beings were looking back. President Chen gave a speech that was broadcast to every corner of the Earth and its colonies. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in human history, she said. We are no longer alone in the A universe. We have taken our first step toward joining a larger community of intelligent species. This is a day of hope, wonder, and infinite possibility. But in the depths of space, something else was stirring. The aliens who had sent the original signal had been watching humanity for a long time. They had been waiting to see how humans would respond to their greeting. And now they had their answer. The response told them everything they needed to know about this young species called humanity, and what they learned made them very unhappy indeed. The silence, 3 months had passed since humanity sent their message to the stars. Earth was still celebrating. Scientists worked around the clock, preparing for the day when the aliens would respond. New telescopes were built, new communication arrays were constructed. Everyone wanted to be ready for the next phase of first contact. Dr. Elena Vasquez had become the most famous scientist on Earth. Her face was on every news channel. Her book about the discovery became a bestseller. Children dressed up as her. for school plays about space exploration. But Elena was not celebrating anymore. She stood in the communications center of Luna Station, Earth's moon base, staring at displays that showed nothing but empty space. For weeks now, she had been monitoring the Kepler 442 system, hoping to detect some sign of alien activity. There was nothing. "Maybe they are just thinking about their response," said Dr. James Park, who had joined Elena on Luna Station. "It is a big decision after all. First contact with a new species." Elena shook her head. "James, it has been 3 months. If they wanted to respond, we would have seen something by now. Long-range sensors would pick up any major transmission from their system." What Elena did not know was that the aliens were not in the Kepler 442 system. They had not been there for a very long time. The signal that started everything had been sent from an automated probe, left behind centuries ago when the aliens moved on to explore other parts of the galaxy. The real aliens were much closer. They called themselves the Hegemony, and they ruled over dozens of star systems. They were ancient, powerful, and very experienced in dealing with young species like humanity. The Hegemony had been watching Earth for 50 years. They had small, invisible ships stationed throughout the solar system. These ships observed human development and reported back to the Hegemony leadership. When humanity sent their response message, it reached a Hegemony monitoring station within hours. The aliens studied it carefully. They analyzed every piece of information, every image, every sound recording. They learned about human technology, human culture, and human military capabilities. The Hegemony leader, an ancient being called the Prime Arbiter, reviewed the human message with his council. The Prime Arbiter had lived for over 1,000 years. He had seen many young species make their first attempts at interstellar communication. "This species shows promise," one council member observed. "Their mathematics are correct. Their art shows creativity. Their music demonstrates emotional depth." The Prime Arbiter studied images of human cities, human faces, human achievements. "Yes," he said slowly, "they show great promise. Perhaps too much promise." "What do you mean?" asked another council member. "Look at their rate of development," the Prime Arbiter replied. 50 years ago, they had barely achieved spaceflight. Now they have colonies on multiple worlds. They have weapons that could threaten our ships. They have technology that grows stronger every year. The council fell silent. They understood what the Prime Arbiter was thinking. The Hegemony had rules about young species. Species that developed too quickly were dangerous. Species that showed too much potential could become threats. "What is your recommendation?" the council asked. The Prime Arbiter was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke words that would change the course of history. "Containment protocol. This species must be limited before they become uncontrollable." The order went out immediately. Hegemony war fleets that had been positioned throughout the galaxy began moving toward human space. Massive ships that could destroy entire worlds started their journey toward Earth and its colonies. The first sign of trouble came from Titan Station, humanity's mining base on Saturn's largest moon. The station had a crew of 5,000 people who extracted valuable minerals from Titan's surface. Commander Lisa Rodriguez was reviewing the daily mining reports when her communication officer called out urgently, "Commander, we are detecting multiple unknown contacts approaching from the outer system. They are big, ma'am. Really big." Commander Rodriguez hurried to the sensor station. On the screen, she could see 12 massive objects moving toward Titan at incredible speed. They were each the size of a small city. "Try to establish communication," she ordered. "Maybe these are the aliens we have been waiting to meet." The communication officer sent out greeting messages in every language, including the mathematical sequences from the original alien signal. There was no response. The unknown ships reached Titan's orbit and took positions around the station. For several hours, nothing happened. The miners continued their work, but everyone was nervous. These ships were clearly not human, and they were not responding to any attempts at communication. Then, the weapons fired. The first blast hit Titan Station's main power generator. The explosion was so powerful that it could be seen from Saturn's other moons. The second blast destroyed the communication array. The third blast hit the civilian quarters where families lived. Within 10 minutes, Titan Station was gone. 5,000 people died without ever knowing why. Similar attacks happened across human space over the next few days. The colony on Proxima Centauri went silent. The research station at Wolf 359 stopped transmitting. Mining operations in the asteroid belt reported strange ships, then nothing. Admiral Sarah Chen commanded Earth's defense fleet from Luna Station. She was a veteran of the Mars colonial wars and had 30 years of military experience. But she had never faced anything like this. "What do we know about these attackers?" she asked her intelligence officer. "Very little, Admiral. They use weapons we have never seen before, some kind of plasma technology that can cut through our strongest armor. Their ships are faster than anything we have ever built, and they seem to know exactly where all our colonies are located." Admiral Chen studied the tactical display. Red marks showed where human colonies had been attacked. The pattern was clear and terrifying. The aliens were working their way toward Earth, destroying everything in their path. "How long until they reach the inner system?" she asked. "Based on their current speed, approximately 72 hours. Admiral Chen nodded grimly. "Send word to all fleet commanders. We make our stand at Luna. Every ship, every weapon, everything we have." But even as she gave the orders, Admiral Chen knew the truth. Humanity's entire space fleet consisted of 200 ships. Most of them were designed for exploration and cargo transport, not warfare. Against an enemy with technology centuries ahead of theirs, they would not stand a chance. On Earth, President Chen called an emergency meeting of the Global Council. The news from the outer colonies was devastating. Millions of people were dead or missing. The dream of peaceful first contact had become a nightmare. "Do we know why they are attacking us?" the president asked. Dr. Elena Vasquez, who had been brought to Earth for the emergency, shook her head. "We sent them a peaceful message. We showed them our art, our music, our desire for friendship. I cannot understand why they would respond with violence." "Maybe our message was misunderstood," suggested the Secretary of Defense. "Maybe they saw it as a threat somehow." "Or maybe," said General Morrison, the head of Earth's military forces, "they never intended to be peaceful. Maybe that first signal was bait, a trap to get us to reveal our location and capabilities." The room fell silent. If the general was right, then humanity had made a terrible mistake. By trying to make friends with the aliens, they had given their enemies everything they needed to destroy them. On Luna Station, Admiral Chen watched as the last reports came in from the outer system. Every human colony beyond Mars was now silent. The alien fleet was approaching fast, and there was nothing left to stop them except Earth's small defense force. "Admiral," her communication officer called out, "we are receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. It is in English. Admiral." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "Put it on the main screen." The image that appeared was like nothing any human had ever seen. The alien was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large black eyes. When it spoke, its voice was cold and emotionless. "Humans of Earth," the alien said, "I am prime arbiter of the hegemony. Your species has been evaluated and found to be problematic. Your rate of development exceeds acceptable parameters. Your potential for growth threatens galactic stability." Admiral Chen activated the communication system. "This is Admiral Chen of Earth Defense Fleet. Why are you attacking us? We sent you a peaceful message. We offered friendship." The Prime Arbiter tilted its head slightly. "Your message was indeed peaceful. It was also informative. It showed us your current capabilities and your potential for future growth. This potential is unacceptable." "We mean you no harm," Admiral Chen protested. We only want to explore space and learn about the universe. That is precisely the problem. The Prime Arbiter replied. Young species that explore too quickly become threats to established order. We have seen it many times before. You will be contained before you can spread further. The transmission ended. Admiral Chen stared at the blank screen, finally understanding the horrible truth. Humanity was not being attacked because they were evil or aggressive. They were being attacked because they showed too much promise, too much potential for growth. The aliens were not trying to conquer Earth. They were trying to prevent humans from ever becoming a threat, and the only way to do that was the reckoning. The battle for Luna began at dawn on what would become known as the darkest day in human history. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the battleship Defiance, watching as her small fleet took position between the moon and the approaching alien armada. Earth's entire space navy consisted of 200 ships. Most were converted cargo vessels and exploration craft hastily fitted with weapons. Against them came 12 hegemony dreadnoughts, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. All ships report ready, Admiral, said Commander Hayes, Chen's second in command. Admiral Chen nodded. She knew this battle could not be won, but humanity would not go quietly into the dark. Open a channel to all ships. Channel open, ma'am. Chen's voice carried to every human vessel in the fleet. Today we fight not for victory, but for the right of our species to exist. These aliens believe we have grown too quickly, become too dangerous. They want to erase us from the universe before we can reach our full potential. She paused, looking out at Earth hanging in space behind them. 7 billion people lived on that blue world, unaware that their fate was being decided in the cold. Vacuum above Luna. Let them come, Chen continued. Let them see what happens when they threaten humanity. All ships, attack pattern Delta. Target their lead vessel. The human fleet charged forward, their engines burning bright against the darkness. It was brave, but it was also hopeless. The hegemony ships did not even slow down. The first alien weapon fired a beam of pure energy that cut the destroyer Courage in half. The ship exploded in a ball of flame that died quickly in the airless void. 57 crew members were gone in an instant. More beams lanced out from the alien ships. The cruiser. Determination vanished in a flash of light. The frigate Hope broke apart under concentrated fire. Within minutes, half of humanity's fleet was destroyed. Admiral, Commander Hayes called out, the hegemony ships are not even using their main weapons. These are just point defense systems. Admiral Chen watched in horror as her ships died around her. The aliens were swatting them aside like insects. Humanity's most advanced weapons could barely scratch the alien armor, while every shot from the enemy destroyed a human vessel. All remaining ships, focus fire on the lead dreadnought, Chen ordered. Everything we have. 20 human ships turned their weapons on a single alien vessel. Missiles, energy beams, and kinetic projectiles struck the enemy ship in a sustained barrage. For a moment, Chen dared to hope they might damage it. The alien ship's shields flared with absorbed energy, then returned to normal. Not a single mark appeared on its hull. The dreadnought responded by firing its main weapon. A blast of plasma struck the battleship Liberty, and the massive vessel simply ceased to exist. 800 crew members died without even having time to scream. Admiral, the communication officer called out urgently. We are receiving another transmission from the alien flagship. The Prime Arbiter appeared on the main screen again. Behind him, Chen could see other aliens working at strange control panels. They all looked calm, as if destroying humanity was just another day's work. Admiral Chen, the Prime Arbiter said, you fight bravely but uselessly. Your weapons cannot harm our vessels. Your tactics are primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick. Go to hell, Admiral Chen replied. The Prime Arbiter tilted its head. An interesting expression. We have studied your language and culture extensively. You are a species that values courage and determination. These are admirable qualities, but they will not save you." Another human ship exploded in the background as they spoke. Then another. "Why are you doing this?" Chen asked. "We offered you friendship. We shared our art, our music, our dreams. Why do you repay that with genocide?" "Because your dreams are the problem," the Prime Arbiter explained patiently. "You dream of exploring the galaxy. You dream of spreading to other worlds. You dream of becoming something greater than you are now. These dreams make you dangerous." "Dangerous to who?" "To the established order. To galactic peace. We have ruled this region of space for 10,000 years. We have seen young species like yours before. They start with good intentions, but ambition always corrupts them. Better to end the threat while it is still small." Admiral Chen felt rage building inside her. "You are destroying us because we might become a threat someday, because we have the potential to be great?" "Exactly," the Prime Arbiter replied. "Your species advances too quickly. In 50 years, you went from single-planet civilization to interstellar colonies. In another 50 years, you might challenge our authority. We cannot allow that to happen." The transmission continued, even as more human ships died. Chen watched the tactical display as her fleet was systematically destroyed. Only 30 vessels remained, including her own flagship. "There is something you should know," the Prime Arbiter said. "Your peaceful message was quite beautiful. Your music, especially, was remarkable. We particularly enjoyed the piece you called Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Such passion, such hope." "Then why?" Chen whispered. "Because passion and hope lead to ambition, and ambition leads to expansion, and expansion leads to conflict. We are preventing a future war by ending your species. Now, while you are still weak." Admiral Chen closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, her expression was cold as space itself. "You want to prevent a future war?" she said. "You just started one." The Prime Arbiter looked puzzled. "Admiral, in 30 minutes your entire fleet will be destroyed. In 30 days, your planet will be sterilized. There will be no war because there will be no humans left to fight it." Chen smiled grimly. "That is where you are wrong." She turned to her communication officer. "Send a message on all frequencies. Full spectrum broadcast to every human colony, every outpost, every ship in known space." "What message, Admiral?" Chen looked directly into the alien's black eyes. "Tell them what happened here. Tell them that we were destroyed not because we were evil, but because we showed promise. Tell them that the aliens fear our potential so much that they chose genocide over coexistence." She paused as another explosion lit up the space around them. The destroyer Perseverance was gone. "And tell them this," Chen continued, her voice carrying across space to every human settlement in the galaxy. "Remember what they took from us. Remember our children who will never grow up. Remember our dreams that will never be fulfilled. Remember our art that will never be created." The Prime Arbiter was no longer looking puzzled. Something in Chen's tone seemed to disturb him. "Remember," Chen said, her words burning across the communication channels. "And make them pay." The Defiance shuddered as alien weapons found there. "Mark!" The ship's hull was breaching in multiple places. Emergency alarms wailed throughout the vessel. "Admiral," Commander Hayes reported, "we have lost main power. Weapons are offline. Life support is failing." Chen nodded. Around them, the last few human ships were dying. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. "You have made a mistake," she told the Prime Arbiter. "You could have destroyed us quickly and quietly. No one would have known what happened to us. But you chose to gloat. You chose to explain yourselves. You gave us time to send word to our people." The alien leader's expression changed. For the first time, Chen saw something that might have been concern in those black eyes. "Your scattered colonies are few and weak," the Prime Arbiter said. "They cannot threaten us. Maybe not today, Chen replied. But you said it yourself. We advance quickly. We learn fast. We adapt. And now we know that you exist. We know that you are not gods. You are just another species with advanced technology. The Defiance's bridge was filling with smoke. Half the crew was dead or injured. But Chen kept talking, her words broadcast across human space. More importantly, we now know what you fear. You fear our potential. You fear what we might become. And you know what? You should fear us. Because now we have a reason to become everything. You were afraid we could be. The transmission cut out as the Defiance's power finally failed. Admiral Sarah Chen died when her ship broke apart under the alien weapons, but her words had already traveled across the galaxy at faster-than-light speed. The Prime Arbiter stared at the empty space where the human flagship had been. Something cold settled in his ancient heart. The human admiral's final words echoed in his mind. "Sir," one of his subordinates reported, "all human vessels in the area have been destroyed. The path to Earth is clear." The Prime Arbiter nodded absently. "Begin orbital bombardment of the planet. Eliminate all human settlements and installations." But even as he gave the order, he wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. The humans were supposed to die quietly, unknown and unmourned. Instead, they had been given time to send a message of defiance to their scattered people. For the first time in centuries, the Prime Arbiter felt something he had almost forgotten: doubt. Below them, Earth began to burn. Cities that had stood for thousands of years were reduced to ash in minutes. Forests and oceans boiled away under the alien weapons. The blue marble that had given birth to humanity became a lifeless rock. But on distant worlds, in hidden colonies, in ships traveling between the stars, humans received Admiral Chen's final message. They learned what had happened to Earth. They learned why their species was being destroyed, and they began to plan. The forging 25 years had passed since Earth died. In that time, the scattered remnants of humanity had changed in ways that would have horrified their ancestors. The species that once dreamed of peaceful exploration among the stars had become something darker, harder, and infinitely more dangerous. Admiral Marcus Webb stood in the command center of New Thermopylae, humanity's hidden fortress world in the Outer Rim. He was the son of Dr. Elena Vasquez, the woman who had first detected the alien signal that started humanity's nightmare. Elena had died when Earth burned, but her son had survived, rescued by an evacuation ship that escaped the planet's destruction. Marcus was no longer the curious young scientist who had once helped his mother study radio signals from space. 25 years of war had transformed him into something the hegemony had never encountered before, a human being with nothing left to lose and everything to gain from revenge. "Report," he said to his intelligence officer, Commander Lisa Santos. "Sir, our deep space reconnaissance ships have confirmed the location of 17 more hegemony worlds. That brings our total target list to 43 planets across 12 star systems." Marcus nodded as he studied the holographic star map that dominated the center of the room. Red dots marked hegemony worlds. Blue dots showed human colonies that had been destroyed. Green dots indicated the new human settlements, hidden in asteroid fields and nebulae where the aliens could not find them. "What about the shipyards?" Marcus asked. "Production is ahead of schedule," reported Captain David Chen, Admiral Sarah Chen's nephew who had joined the resistance after Luna fell. The new Shanghai yards completed their 100th Retribution-class dreadnought yesterday. The new Berlin facility finished their 50th Nemesis-class carrier last week. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had learned much in 25 years. They had studied every piece of hegemony technology they could find. They had reverse-engineered alien weapons, shields, and engines. Most importantly, they had learned to think like their enemies. The old humanity had built ships for exploration and wonder. The new humanity built ships for only one purpose: killing aliens. "And the flagship?" Marcus asked. "The Reckoning will be ready for launch in 3 days," Captain Chen replied. "She is the most powerful warship humanity has ever constructed. Her weapons can crack a planet in half. Her shields can withstand a supernova. Her engines can outrun anything the hegemony." "Hess!" Marcus walked to the large window that looked out over New Thermopylae's massive shipyards. Hundreds of human vessels were under construction in the orbital factories. Each ship bore the name of a world the aliens had destroyed: Terra, Luna, Titan, Proxima, Vega Colony, New Hope, Paradise Station. Every ship was a tombstone. Every weapon was a prayer for the dead. "Sir," Commander Santos said, "we have received reports from our infiltration teams on hegemony worlds. The aliens still believe humanity is extinct. They think they completed their mission 25 years ago." "Good," Marcus replied. "Let them think that. When we reveal ourselves, it will be too late for them to prepare." The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this moment since the day Earth died. The evacuation ships that escaped the planet's destruction had carried more than just refugees. They had carried humanity's greatest scientists, engineers, and military minds. They had carried the seeds of revenge. The survivors had scattered to the farthest edges of known space. They had built hidden colonies in places the hegemony would never think to look. They had created new technologies based on alien designs, but improved with human ingenuity. They had raised a generation of children who knew only one goal: making the aliens pay for what they had done. Dr. James Park, Elena's former assistant, was now the head of humanity's weapons development program. He entered the command center, carrying a data pad, his face showing the satisfaction of a job well done. "Marcus," he said, "I have the final test results from the new plasma cannon systems. They are 40% more powerful than anything the hegemony uses. Our ships will cut through their armor like paper." "What about their shields?" Marcus asked. "We have developed a new type of missile that can phase through their energy barriers. The warheads will detonate inside their hulls. They will never see it coming." Marcus nodded approvingly. This was the difference between the old humanity and the new. The old humanity had shared their knowledge freely, hoping to make friends with the aliens. The new humanity kept their advances secret, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal their capabilities. "There is something else," Dr. Park continued. "Our psychological warfare division has completed their analysis of hegemony communication patterns. We know how to hurt them not just physically, but mentally." "Explain." "The hegemony believes they are perfect. They think they are the natural rulers of the galaxy. They have never been seriously challenged by any species. Their entire identity is based on being superior to everyone else." Dr. Park activated his data pad, showing images of alien communications intercepted over the years. "When we attack them, we will not just be destroying their ships and planets. We will be destroying their entire worldview. The psychological shock of being defeated by a species they thought they had eliminated will be devastating." Marcus smiled coldly. "You are saying we can break their minds as well as their bodies?" "Exactly. The hegemony has ruled through fear for 10,000 years. When their subjects see them being defeated by humans, rebellions will break out across their empire. They will face enemies on every front." This was the genius of humanity's plan. They were not just going to defeat the hegemony militarily. They were going to destroy them completely, breaking their empire apart and leaving them powerless. Commander Santos received a message on her communication device. She read it quickly, then looked up at Marcus with excitement. "Sir, our scout ships report that the hegemony fleet is exactly where our intelligence predicted. 12 dreadnoughts in orbit around their capital world, just like 25 years ago when they attacked Earth." Marcus felt his heart rate increase. This was the moment they had been preparing for since he was a young man. The moment when humanity would reveal that they were not extinct, that they had been growing stronger in the darkness, that they had become the very threat the aliens had tried to prevent. "Send word to all fleet commanders," Marcus ordered. Operation Reckoning begins in 72 hours. All ships are to reach their assigned positions and wait for my signal. The command center erupted in controlled activity as orders were transmitted across human space. In hidden bases throughout the galaxy, captains received their final briefings. Engineers made last-minute adjustments to weapons systems. Soldiers said goodbye to families they might never see again. But this was different from the desperate. Last stand at Luna 25 years ago. This time humanity was not defending. They were attacking. They were not outnumbered. They were bringing overwhelming force against an enemy that had no idea they existed. Marcus walked to the memorial wall that honored the 8 billion humans who died when Earth burned. At the center was a photograph of his mother, Dr. Elena Vasquez, the woman whose discovery of an alien signal had led to humanity's greatest tragedy and greatest transformation. "We kept our promise, Mom," he whispered to her image. "We remembered what they took from us, and now we are going to make them pay." He turned to address the assembled officers in the command center. These were the survivors, the children of survivors, the people who had devoted their lives to this moment. 25 years ago, the hegemony made a mistake, Marcus said, his voice carrying throughout the room. They could have killed us quickly and quietly. They could have erased us from history without anyone knowing what happened, but they chose to be cruel. They chose to explain themselves. They gave us time to understand what we were facing. He gestured to the star map showing the positions of human fleets throughout the galaxy. They thought they were preventing us from becoming a threat. Instead, they created the very enemy they feared. We are no longer the peaceful explorers who sent greetings to the stars. We are no longer the naive optimists who believed the universe was full of friends waiting to be discovered. Marcus's voice grew harder with each word. We are the species that was forged in nuclear fire. We are the children of a dead world. We are the nightmare that the hegemony created when they decided that our potential was too dangerous to allow. He looked each of his officers in the eye. Today we show them what that potential has become. Today we collect the debt they owe us for 8 billion lives. Today we teach the galaxy that there are some mistakes you cannot take back. The officers saluted in unison. In 3 days, 1,000 human warships would emerge from hyperspace around the hegemony capital world. The aliens would learn that their victims had not stayed dead. They would learn that humanity had kept its promise to remember, and they would learn what vengeance looked like when it was planned for 25 years. The vengeance. The hegemony capital world of Dominion Prime had never seen war. For 10,000 years, it had been the center of an empire that stretched across 40 star systems. Its cities gleamed with crystalline spires that reached into the clouds. Its orbital stations controlled trade routes throughout the galaxy. Its people had never known fear. That was about to change. Prime Arbiter HFY stood in the Great Assembly, addressing the Hegemony Council just as his predecessor had done 25 years ago when they decided to eliminate humanity. The alien leader had aged in the decades since Earth's destruction, but he still remembered the human admiral's final words clearly. The quarterly reports show continued stability throughout our territory, HFY was saying. No species has challenged our authority. No world has attempted rebellion. The galaxy remains peaceful under our guidance. The other council members nodded approvingly. They had ruled for so long that the idea of serious opposition was almost unthinkable. They were the hegemony. They were eternal. They were untouchable. Alarms began sounding throughout the capital city. HFY paused in his speech, looking puzzled. What is the meaning of this disturbance? A junior officer rushed into the assembly hall, his pale blue face showing signs of panic. Prime Arbiter, our long-range sensors are detecting massive energy signatures approaching the system. Unknown. Vessels approaching from multiple vectors. Unknown vessels? HFY asked. What species would dare approach Dominion Prime without permission? Sir, we do not recognize the ship designs. The fleet numbers in the hundreds. They will reach orbital space in 20 minutes. The council members looked at each other in confusion. No species in the galaxy had the technology or the courage to challenge the hegemony directly. Most civilizations barely had interstellar flight. The few advanced species knew better than to threaten the Empire. "Send a warning transmission," HFY ordered. "Remind these intruders that this system is under hegemony protection. Tell them to identify themselves and explain their presence." The communication went out immediately. The response came back faster than anyone expected, carried on frequencies that hurt alien ears with their strange harmonics. "This is Admiral Marcus Webb of the Human Expeditionary Fleet. You destroyed our world 25 years ago. You killed 8 billion of our people. You said we were too dangerous to be allowed to live." The assembly hall fell completely silent. Every alien in the room remembered the human extermination mission from decades ago. It had been a minor operation, barely worth noting in their long history. The destruction of a single planet and a few primitive colonies. But humans were extinct. The hegemony had made certain of that. "You made one mistake," the human voice continued, "broadcast on every frequency in the system. You did not kill all of us. Some of us survived. Some of us remembered. Some of us spent 25 years learning how to hurt you." Prime Arbiter HFY activated the main communication system. "This is impossible. Humanity was eliminated." "Completely. We monitored your species for 50 years. We knew the location of every human settlement." Admiral Webb's laugh was cold as the space between stars. "You knew about our official colonies. You did not know about the mining ships in deep space when you attacked. You did not know about the exploration vessels beyond the rim. You did not know about the research stations in places you never thought to look. On the tactical displays, throughout Dominion Prime, 1,000 human warships materialized out of hyperspace. They surrounded the planet like a closing fist, their weapons already charging for battle. The aliens stared in shock at the ships filling their screens. These were not the primitive vessels they remembered from the human homeworld. These were massive warships that rivaled the hegemony's own dreadnoughts. Their weapon signatures showed technology equal to or superior to anything the aliens possessed. "How is this possible?" whispered one council member. Admiral Webb answered, as if he had heard the question. "You taught us well. Every piece of your technology we could salvage, we studied. Every weapon you used against us, we improved. Every tactic you employed, we adapted and enhanced." HFY felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear. "What do you want?" "The same thing you wanted 25 years ago," Webb replied. "Elimination of a dangerous species. The difference is, now we are the ones who decide which species is too dangerous to live." The human fleet moved into attack formation. Each ship bore the name of a human world that had been destroyed. Each weapon was aimed at a different target. On the planet below— "Wait!" HFY said desperately. "We can negotiate. We can find a peaceful solution to this conflict." "Peaceful?" Webb's voice carried 25 years of accumulated rage. "You offered us no peace when you attacked our defenseless colonies. You showed us no mercy when you burned our children alive. You gave us no chance to surrender when you turned our homeworld into glass." The first human weapons fired, the plasma. Beams that struck Dominion Prime were unlike anything the hegemony had ever seen. They punched through the planet's shields as if they were paper. They carved through city-sized buildings like knives through flesh. They turned the crystalline spires that had stood for millennia into clouds of superheated gas. "Impossible," HFY breathed. "Our defenses should stop any attack." "Your defenses were designed to stop alien weapons," Webb explained calmly as explosions lit up the planet's surface. "These are human weapons. We built them specifically to kill your people and destroy your worlds. The orbital defense stations that protected Dominion Prime turned their weapons toward the human fleet. Massive energy beams lanced out toward the attacking ships. The aliens watched hopefully as their most powerful weapons struck the human vessels. The beams hit the human ships and simply vanished, absorbed by shield systems that had been designed with 25 years of captured hegemony technology as their foundation. "Your turn is over," Admiral Webb announced. "Now it is ours." The human fleet opened fire with everything they had. 1,000 ships unleashed their weapons simultaneously, and Dominion Prime's orbital defenses simply ceased to exist. The stations that had protected the capital world for centuries were reduced to scrap metal in seconds. More human weapons struck. The planet itself. Cities that had housed billions of aliens became craters. Spaceports where hegemony ships had launched for millennia became fields of molten rock. The government centers where the Empire had been ruled for 10,000 years burned like candles in the wind. Prime Arbiter HFY and his council were trapped in their underground bunker as the world died above them. Through the communication systems, they could hear reports from across their empire. Human fleets had appeared at every major hegemony world simultaneously. 43 planets were under attack at the same moment. "How did they coordinate this?" one council member asked in horror. "How did they know the locations of all our worlds?" "We had 25 years to watch you," Webb's voice answered from the speakers. "We sent scout ships to every system in your empire. We studied your patrol routes, your defense systems, your population centers. We learned everything about you while you thought we were dead." The bunker shook as another wave of human weapons struck the surface. The lights flickered and went out, replaced by the red glow of emergency power. "Please," HFY begged. "Our people are not all warriors. Many of them are innocent civilians, children who had nothing to do with the decision to attack Earth." "Were our children warriors?" Webb asked quietly. "Were our civilians soldiers when you burned them? Did you show mercy to our innocent people?" The Prime Arbiter had no answer. "Every human child who died on Earth cried for their parents as the fire consumed them," Webb continued. "Every human parent tried to shield their children from your weapons. Every human civilian begged for mercy as your ships turned their cities to ash." The attacks intensified. Dominion Prime was dying, and with it, the heart of the hegemony empire. "You taught us an important lesson," Webb said as the bombardment continued. "You taught us that the universe is not full of friends waiting to be discovered. You taught us that peaceful species are seen as threats to be eliminated. You taught us that showing potential is a crime punishable by extinction." "We made a mistake," HFY admitted desperately. "We should not have attacked your species. We should have tried to coexist peacefully." "Yes, you made a mistake, but not the one you think." The Prime Arbiter looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Your mistake was not attacking us," Webb explained. "Your mistake was not finishing the job. If you had truly wanted to eliminate humanity, you should have made sure we were all dead. Instead, you left survivors. And those survivors remembered." The bunker's main screen activated, showing Admiral Webb's face for the first time. He looked like his mother, Elena Vasquez, but his eyes held a coldness that would have broken her heart. For 25 years, every human child was raised on stories of Earth's destruction. Every human adult devoted their life to preparing for this moment. Every human scientist worked to create weapons that could hurt you. Every human soldier trained to kill your people. Webb leaned forward, staring directly into the camera. "You wanted to prevent us from becoming a threat to galactic peace.